Have you noticed something quietly unsettling? Water still flows when you turn the tap, the bill still looks small, and yet across the US and Europe, water is becoming harder to secure, more expensive to treat, and more contested to manage. The conflict hasn't arrived loudly, it's arrived invisibly through infrastructure, pricing, and everyday behavior. Let's start with a familiar situation. Imagine a young professional household earning about $70,000 a year in the United States. After taxes and deductions, roughly $4,200 a month lands in the bank. In Europe, the numbers change, but the pattern is similar. Rent or mortgage takes $1,500. Car payments, fuel, and insurance cost $650. Student loans or education debt add $300. Credit cards, utilities, internet, and subscriptions total $450. Groceries and basic living costs are another $550. At the end of the month, there isn't much slack. Water barely registers, maybe $60 to $90 a month, a rounding error compared to housing or transport. That's where the hidden system flaw begins. Water feels cheap not because it is abundant, but because its real cost is delayed. Let's do calm, simple math. Treating, pumping, purifying, and delivering water requires energy, chemicals, infrastructure, and labor. In many regions, the true cost of water is 2 to 3 times higher than what households currently pay. The gap is absorbed by aging infrastructure, public debt, and deferred maintenance. In other words, we aren't paying less. We're paying later. The psychological reason this goes unnoticed is familiarity. Humans treat what's always been available as permanent. Water doesn't trigger urgency because scarcity doesn't feel personal yet. So consumption stays inefficient, pipes leak, lawns stay green in dry regions, pricing signals stay muted. Now stretch this forward. As populations grow and climate variability increases, water treatment costs rise, municipalities borrow, infrastructure ages further, emergency fixes replace long-term planning. Over time, the long-term impact shows up quietly: higher local taxes, sudden rate hikes, usage restrictions that feel abrupt and unfair, not because the crisis appeared overnight, but because it was postponed for decades. Now, here's the perspective shift financially intelligent people make. They don't think of water as a bill, they think of it as a system under stress. They understand that cheap essentials often hide long-term risk. They don't panic buy or hoard. They pay attention. They support efficiency, resilience, and realistic pricing because stability costs money upfront or chaos costs more later. This isn't about predicting wars or disaster. It's about recognizing that resource pressure doesn't announce itself, it accumulates. Water wars don't start with conflict. They start with complacency. Understanding that doesn't make you fearful, it makes you aware, and awareness is how systems are managed before they break. If this calm way of looking at economics and everyday life helped you think a little more clearly, consider subscribing for more grounded discussions like this.